Assistant, offload that. You shouldn't be handling it. You shouldn't be handling emails, support, chargebacks, anything. And ultimately, it's really easy to get in contact with him and get him connected to your store. So if you're ready to reach out to Omar, or you want to get him going on your store, or honestly, like any little project you need help with when it comes to the e-commerce space, he's been in it for years. He knows how to handle it. The best way to contact him is with this information right here, or obviously the information will be below in the description. His Discord is Omar with a little hashtag 7590, and his WhatsApp is here. They'll be popped up on the screens. They'll also be below. So you guys can easily reach out to him. He will share the email that you connect to your store, and it's a really easy process. You go to your store, you go to users, you go to add user, you add him in, and you give him a couple simple permissions. He'll tell you what permissions he needs, and I can assure you that he is extremely trustworthy. He has my full backing, my full trust, and I can promise you that there's going to be zero issues with having him integrated in your store. So that basically wraps up everything with virtual assistants. It's a pretty easy, simple video. He can walk you through any questions you still have. It's a pretty easy process. You get connected with him, you get set up on your store, you get him integrated in, tell him what services you want. He'll give you an exact pricing if you're going to add something on, but those are his prices right here, the 500 a month, 750, 1,000 a month. Obviously it's going to grow depending on the emails and other services. Like if you add on like, hey, can you go check over our social medias every single day? Those services will obviously add to your monthly payments, but that basically wraps everything up. So if you're crushing it with your store, which I hope you are, if you watch the testing section on TikTok and you've been making a ton of creatives, then you should be ready to reach out to Omar. Around like 5 emails a day, I'd reach out to him and get him connected. It's definitely worth your time. You need it, and it's going to help you grow when you don't have to manage these things, and you can focus on tasks that grow the business instead of tasks that manage the business. You don't want to be working in the business. You want to be working on the business, right? You don't want to be the chess pieces. You want to be the player moving the chess pieces. And this is your first step towards that reality, right? It's obviously going to get more and more real as you build out more and more teams, and you're really going to be starting to run this kind of like ecosystem that it serves itself, I guess is the best way to say it. And all you have to do is just make sure everything's functioning correctly. So fun stuff, exciting stuff. Treat Omar with the utmost respect. This guy is amazing, and he does a lot for us. So get connected with him when you're ready, and I will see you in the next video where we will most likely be going over UGC content so we can build up our big library of video ads so we can jump into Facebook properly. I will see you there. Alrighty boys, welcome into the digital omnipresence video now. In this one, we're going to be going over how you can have omnipresence online and how you can create this kind of wheelhouse that when someone sees one of your video ads, you can kind of trap them into this little ecosystem where they're going to keep seeing your video ads and they're going to keep throwing more and more ads at them. Because on average, it takes someone 7 to 12 times of viewing an ad before they start actually making real purchasing decisions and really starting to think if this is something they need or want in their life. So a lot of people, they're just throwing out their one ad and hoping that a fish or one person comes across and is entangled in their net and buys instantly. And that's just not how things work. You need to have a layer of 7 to 12 nets that the fish has to try to swim through all of them. And that's where you start really making money, is through omnipresence, through having these funnels and these systems that target people, that engage with your ads, that view your content, that add to cart, and making sure that you continually offer different videos to them with different kind of guidelines and goals. And this is where you're really going to be soaking in a huge amount of sales. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, guys, so the best way to explain this is I made another little Miro whiteboard thing. And we have up here the 7 to 12 day process that it takes someone to buy. And this is kind of, you at least need 4 nets. And we'll talk about how this kind of system works through basically just different tiers is like the best way to explain it. So first off, we have ice cold traffic. This is people that have never seen your product. They've never seen this thing. They don't know what the new cup is. They have no clue what's going on, but hopefully they have neck pain, shoulder pain, or they would benefit from this device. And this is our first contact point with them. This is our first time showing them our brand, showing them our product, and we need to speak their language on this ad. This is really important. So this is our ice cold traffic ads. This is where we're targeting people with like the blank targeting ad groups that have the $100 daily budgets. That's ice cold traffic. Or when we start playing with targeted interests, for example, if I target people that are into weightlifting, or bodybuilding, and I obviously would want to make a bodybuilding video ad to tie in with that ad group. But when we're targeting them, it's still ice cold traffic. They still have no clue who we are. So the goal on this is to grab attention. It's our hook, right? That gets the fish interested. It's the bait basically. And the biggest way we can bait someone in is by speaking their language. Like if I was selling this to gamers who are hunched over on the computer, I'd say, hey, are you sick of being hunched over on your computer 8 hours a day? Is your neck and shoulders really starting to feel the pain of that posture? And anyone who hears that is immediately hooked in. So that's the goal with these first ads, with these ice cold traffic ads, is we need to hook people in. We need to grab attention and speak someone's specific language. Just doing mass production like, hey, do your shoulders hurt? Here's this. It can hook people if they're in excruciating shoulder pain, but it's not going to hook everyone unless you are hyper specific. So for testing products, testing brands, doing the normal Facebook and TikTok ad strategies work because we are focusing on mass market, but we need to start hyper fixating and getting tunnel vision on an exact demographic. And we can try different demographics until something hits, but I hope you're seeing that to truly transition to the branding stage, to really get in depth and start crushing it here, we need to get hyper focused and we need to test a lot of things. A lot of people will just grab their product, they throw up the one traffic ad that's ice cold traffic, not targeted. It doesn't get a couple sales, so they give up. And it's just like, holy shit, dude, you didn't even take a quarter of the time that it needs to take to really even test this product. You didn't even test it. You threw one net out there and a fish didn't immediately get entangled in it, so you gave up on the fishing spot, thinking, oh, there's no fish here. Meanwhile, there's probably millions of dollars worth of fish and you just didn't try hard enough. Like you didn't even put in real effort. So I hope that makes sense. We really need to dive deep on this stuff and test out, okay, we got some mass sales, like with the new cup, right? We've done like 10,000 in sales. Now, how do we focus deeper? How do we find the exact demographic? Is it gamer kids that are hunched over? Is it moms in their 40s that have pain from being a mom and doing all the hard things that they have to do each day? Like what is the little demographic, the niche thing? Is it blue collar workers? Is it gym guys? Who is our main thing? And we need to test all of those different audiences and figure out who is our exact audience. And for example, once we find that audience, we need to dial in on it, change your branding a little bit. Like if it's blue collar stuff, maybe we get a blue one, we start talking about blue collar stuff like blue collar workers. Is your body hurting from working your ass off all day? And you make funny ads that tailor to them and you can call it the blue collar cup. You just change your domain. It's so easy. So you can do that stuff later, but at the start you kind of have to go mass production, then you have to kind of siphon in. But that's a big side tangent, but that's really valuable stuff you guys absolutely have to be doing. So ice cold traffic, we're trying to hook. Then we have cold traffic. Like it's not warm, like they're not like in rapport with us just yet, but they've at least seen our video ads. So on tier 2 ads, we're trying to build a deeper interest to the people that were hooked. So right here, we're targeting anyone who's seen our ads. They've seen our cold traffic ads. So this each tier is basically going to be a campaign. We have ice cold traffic campaigns and we have cold traffic, warm traffic, hot traffic campaigns. So the cold traffic campaign is going to target people who have engaged with this ad or they've seen it. So anyone who has seen our cold traffic ads, we are going to target them on cold traffic. And with this ad, we're going to try to build interest. Like, and you can even mention like, hey, we saw that you saw one of our ads, but you didn't click to our website or something. And you can say these type of things that like, oh, how did they know that? That's kind of crazy. And build up interest, but that's not really the main point because you should have already hooked them a little bit. Your main point here is to build interest, talk about the benefits of the product. And this is another really big thing is people try to sell like, oh, it has 6 to 12 heating modes and and they list all these little features and the cupping device is small enough to fit anywhere in your body. And they list these little features and nobody cares about features. They care about, does it work? They care about certainty. Sales is a transfer of certainty. You need to say, I am certain this product will change your life. This is why I'm recommending it. I'm certain this will take your knots out. This will take headaches away. And obviously you have to make sure you're in compliance with Facebook's advertising policies and stuff like that. But you want to sell certainty. You want to sell results, solutions. That's why people buy things. You don't buy something because it has a little feature on it. You buy it because you're certain it's going to provide a solution. So that's what you need to really be conveying in your cold traffic ads in your tier 2. Next, tier 3 is where you really start selling. You really need to say like, and this is, let's talk about how you target them. So the goal is to sell harder and you're targeting people that have had their interest built. And you can tell if someone's interest is built is if they have gone to your website, but they haven't purchased. And I'll show you on Facebook what what that looks like to set it up. It's super easy. Once we finish explaining all these, I'll show you guys how you can jump in Facebook, how you can jump in TikTok and target these people. Really easy to set up within the audience section on Facebook and with the custom audience little section on TikTok. Easy stuff. So on the Sell Harder Tier 3 campaign, our goal is to target people that have engaged with our ads, have clicked our website, but they haven't added to cart, they haven't purchased. This is people that their interest was built, right? Like okay, I'm looking into it. Maybe it's something cool. I don't know if I want it, or I'm not going to make a decision yet. People are like this. Some people aren't going to click and buy instantly in day one. This is how people are, guys. People aren't going to see your product, see your first little ad and go, wow, I need that so bad. I'm going to buy it and tell my friends about it. It takes way longer. It's a slower process. So right here is where you really want to talk about those benefits, those features, because these are the people that showed interest. They physically showed it. They went to the website. So with this, we really want to dial in. The main things here is like, hey, we have guarantees. Hey, we have warranties. We can ensure you that this product is not a piece of shit. You're actually going to get what you're paying for. These solutions are real. And this is where you want to just do everything you did in tier 2 way harder, way more salesy. Obviously, you don't want to be like super cringe over the top, like infomercial, old TV ad vibe, but you definitely want to convey to them that this is the solution you need and we're backing it with guarantees. And it's a smart decision to buy this product. You're not going to get scammed. That's basically what they need to feel before they can actually feel the confidence to purchase. Next, hot traffic. Now, these are people that have gone to the product page, they have added to cart, they maybe even put their payment info in, but for some reason they didn't pay. And there's a lot of reasons this might happen. Someone really might want the product, but their dog started barking and, oh, 1 second, I gotta go away. And they go away, they go do something else, or they're doing something that sidetracked them. There's a ton of different ways, like, oh, maybe I'll purchase it later. Maybe I'll think about it a little bit longer. There's so many things. So right here, we want to target people that have gone to the website, they've added to cart, they've maybe even put their payment info in, and they didn't purchase. And right here, the main goal is to just get the sale and be done with them. Because right now we have spent, for hot traffic, we've spent ad costs on all of these, right? So it's starting to get a little bit pricey. So we really need to just get the sale here. And we want to do it with a 10% off discount code, maybe 20%. I wouldn't recommend 20 because again, you kind of have to factor in, we've paid for someone to go through all of these steps and it costs money to go through every single step. So to also give them 20% off, I usually wouldn't recommend. Maybe 10 to 15 is a little bit better, but you want to get the discount code and be like, hey, we know you've seen our ads. We know you're interested in this product. Maybe you need a little bit of a kick in the butt to purchase, or you need a little bit of a push. So here it is. Here's your 10 to 15% off discount code to buy your new cup today. And these ads aren't your just run of the mill ads. Like they need to be targeted. They need to be hyper focused. Like when you're buying like UGC and influencer ads, it's tier 1 shit, maybe tier 2 shit. The tier 3 and 4 shit needs to be like hyper specific. Like you need to be saying like, hey, we know you're a weightlifter that came to our website, but you didn't purchase for some reason. Maybe it's because you think it's a crappy product. Maybe it's because you don't think we have warranties or guarantees. But here's why we do. Like talk to them like a physical person. Like don't just have these run-of-the-mill ads like, the new cup is so good. Buy one today with the automated shit. Like that's hook stuff. We want to be really investing in time and talking to people, human beings. These are human beings that are buying, right? These aren't robot numbers. Just because we see them on our analytics as little robot numbers doesn't mean they are. These are real people, so start talking to them like that. And this is how we get omnipresence. This is where we have like fucking 50 of these hook ads going at a time. So this is kind of an example of what it would look like. We have a ton of cold traffic campaigns. We're targeting different interests. We're doing zero targeting. We're targeting different demographics. We're targeting moms here. We're targeting weightlifters here or something. We have a ton of tier 1 traffic, different hooks, different influencers. And obviously we want to kind of hone in. We don't want to, because our pixel data is going to get messy. If we're targeting weightlifters, then we're targeting moms, then we're targeting blue collar workers. All of that traffic is going into one pixel that's then kind of getting the rest of this information dirty. And it's harder to be specific of like, hey, are you a blue collar worker when you're targeting them here when you had mom traffic campaign come in, right? So you got to be a little bit clean with it. You got to be a little bit organized and kind of figure out what works and then quickly get away from it and start only doing the things that are tailored towards your exact demographic that you know works the best, or you can just stay mass market the whole time, but I don't fully recommend that. But your funnel is going to end up looking like this. You can see how it's a little funnel. Like we get as much traffic we can on our hooks, then we get on tier 2, we really try to build interest with them, we sell really hard. And what's nice is your cold traffic's still going to get sales. You're still getting sales at every net, but you at least have a system that's like, if someone's really stubborn and not buying, they at least buy here, right? You gave them the discount, you show them all the shit, like you'll at least recoup the sales that you wouldn't have through this tiered system. But a lot of people are going to buy right. Tons of people are going to buy right here. This is going to be your bolt, these 3. And hey, if someone didn't, here's a discount code. Now just get away from us. Like we got your business. And now there is another system, very hot traffic. There's another tier 4, but that's when people have purchased already. And that's where you want to get them to purchase again. And we're going to do that through email, text messages, and stuff like that, because we don't want to keep paying for traffic when we already know they're a hot lead. We can just capture it on emails and SMS, and that's easy stuff. So we can retarget them, say, hey, you bought a product, here's a 30% discount code to buy another one, so you can make sure your friends have the same benefits, right? You can say something like that. So super good stuff here. This is huge, guys. You need this omnipresence. So let's jump in and talk about how this kind of looks within Facebook. It's the exact same with Facebook and TikTok. You basically hit all tools, go to audiences right here, super easy. You want to hit create an audience, and you can go off website traffic, but at first you want to do like video stuff, like people who have interacted with your content, right? So choose a content type, people who have viewed, I'd say at least 25, like maybe 50% of your video, because you know they're interested. And I'd say in the last like 7 days, you don't want like huge windows. And we'll do view 50%. 7 days. Then you can also choose videos. So you can choose which ones they've actually watched through all of your different posts. Right now it's only showing my story ones. For some reason, it's not showing my reels. So I think for it to show my reels, we need to do Facebook page. Yeah, so anyone who's interacted with your page, there's a ton of different options, and you guys can play around targeting anyone who's visited your Instagram, visited your Facebook, watched your videos, anyone who's clicked your websites. So you can create these funnels very easily and even hyper target specific videos they've watched. Like people who've watched 50% of your video, you can choose what video they've watched. So you can have that funnel system of, hey, this is our funnel system for blue collar. This is our funnel system for moms. This is our funnel system for weightlifters. This is our funnel system for guys that are into sports like football or boxing or something. And you can create this huge ecosystem of nets you have different funnels for each demographic, and you can keep it the new cup, a mass market product. And then on your ads, keep the hyper focused funnels for specific people. And you can see this is a lot of work. It takes some time to build this out, but this is where you're getting to the real branded level, and where you're having the custom inventory and you're scaling up to 30K days. You could be doing 10K days within each demographic, hitting 50K days, and you're only doing 5 demographics. And then you can scale into more demographics. And I hope it really starts to make sense, but you can come in here and choose people that have done certain actions. And you can also, when you're in the ad group, so you'll target someone, right? If we're trying to do a tier 3, we're going to target people who have added to cart, but they haven't purchased. So let me show you what that looks like. We'll go to website. We are going to target people that have added to cart. And then we also want to exclude. So then we want to exclude people who purchased, because if you already purchased, right, we don't want to. And then we can set the date. We can do, oh, you only did it in the last 7 days. And we can name this people who added to cart but didn't purchase in the last 7 days. And you can set up these crazy audiences. So I'm not going to go in depth on how to set up every single little thing. It's pretty self-explanatory. You should be able to come in there and understand for your brand, for your tier system, for your goals, specifically what audience to make. You guys can go crazy in here. And then there's also the lookalike audiences and all this type of stuff. It gets really crazy. And on TikTok, it is the exact same stuff. TikTok has just copy and pasted everything from Facebook. So we have engagement on content, website traffic, and these are basically the only ones we're going to use. And it's extremely easy. So I'll have this Miro whiteboard downloaded below the video that you can click on and make sure that you're coming in and revisiting this if you ever need to. Pretty simple stuff, but this is, guys, this is what really separates drop shippers from brand owners. Like imagine if you have like 50 of these different funnels and they're all leading to your website. They're all getting you sales. You're just running a mass amount of funnels, and you can start seeing this is just Facebook, and then just TikTok. And then we're doing the same thing on YouTube ads, then on Google paid ads. And it's just, I can't even explain it. Like If you're fully committed, if you are building a team, you are working with agencies, you have a UGC system for video ads, you have media buyers for Facebook that are handling this for you, media buyers for Google that are handling this for you, media buyer for TikTok that's handling this for you, an agency for email and SMS. And your job is to basically just like work with influencers, make sure the brand image is solid and good, and you're scaling up all these things. That's where you're doing millions a week sometimes, because you have 50 different channels, different systems that are hyper focused, funneling in all of these people, and all of these channels need new ads cycled in. By the way, you need to be cycling in new ads for this, new ads for this, new ads for this, maybe every week, maybe every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. It's different for every brand. But guys, when you're doing all of this effort, like let's say this is just TikTok, then you have Facebook, then you have Google, you're doing all of these systems. Guys, it is incredibly easy to be profiting multiple six figures a week when you're running at scale like this. And then you're also buying like hundreds of thousands of units every time, getting them for dirt cheap. Like you could probably get these for like $3, $4, $5 when you're buying that many of them, with branding, with packaging, with warehousing, even probably $5 for all of that. And you're selling it for 50, and you're going to need those margins, right? Because now you have huge teams and you're crushing it. And this is the 7-figure framework, boys. This is crazy. This is a big video. Me talking about this omnipresence, this place where you have ads everywhere and you have systems and everything's self-sufficient and you have this amazing little world you've created. This is your business, right? This is what it looks like. So I hope you guys got a ton of value out of this one. This Miro board will be shared right below, and I will see you in the other videos. Make sure you guys are taking action on this, putting in the effort, making those audiences, making those custom videos, setting up those discount codes, and really crushing it and giving this brand everything you've got, because this is life-changing money when it's executed properly. And don't be afraid or scared of it being too hard to do, or thinking you're not good enough, or I can't run something at this scale. It's too many moving parts. I don't even know who I'd hire. Because in the end of the day, we're plugging those people to you. We have a community group where you can come in and get help from me. So there's no excuses, guys. This is free information you got. What do you have to lose, right? If you really want to live your best life and live to the fullest, live to the capabilities you know you're able to do, then you need to come in and do this nitty-gritty stuff. You need to have that self-identity of I'm worth it, I can do it. And it's extremely important to take this stuff very seriously and not just think about it, put action on it. Start getting these systems in place, start executing at higher levels, start working hard and throwing money into this opportunity, and be logical. Don't be emotional about it. Make solid decisions. And I promise you guys, this is so obtainable. There are so many brands that are doing this, and I'm very excited to see the results you guys bring in. But that is it for this video, and I will see you in the next ones on the course. All right, guys, welcome into the world of influencers. Now, I hope that you're having some success with your brand, and that's why you're here. You should be really getting some solid results with your advertising, getting some traction, getting more UGC videos built out, and you're kind of looking for the next step. And that next step is influencers. There's a lot of things to talk about. There's a lot of levels to it. There's a lot of complexities, nuances, and it's kind of hard to put a price and a value point on something without really knowing until you try it, right? Like you can think that some influencer, they have 5 million followers, it's going to bring me so many sales, but you can't really track it. There's so many variables. So it's kind of like the wild west of educated guessing, which is the theme of all advertising and all marketing. But there's a ton of different talking points today. So let's just get into it. So guys, when we're trying to understand the world of influencers, the first thing we need to understand is the tier list of the different influencer levels. So we have micro influencers. These are going to be people that are like 10,000 followers or less. These are just maybe like a local celebrity. Like they have big friends. Like I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah. Like maybe they're kind of famous. They're well known in Salt Lake City, Utah, but they're not like an influencer. So you can still use people with like 10K followers, 15K followers, and get pretty decent results of their friends, their close relatives and stuff using the product based on them making a video for it. So it's basically UGC, but it has that higher tweak of they're going to post it on their account as an organic post. They're going to talk about it, and they are kind of like a micro influencer because there will be some good results with it. it, and there is some people that look up to them still. So they still do have that influence compared to someone who's just completely random with no followers. So that's micro. Next, we have small influencers. This would be like 50K followers or less. Then we have standard influencers, which I'd say is like 100K followers or more. Then we have big influencers. This would be like 500K followers or more. Next, we have a large influencer that's like 1 million plus followers. Then we're kind of getting into the space where someone's like a low tier celebrity, like they're just very, very well known on the internet. And that's like 5 to 10 million followers. And then there's like the actual celebrity level with like 15, 20 million plus. So as you can see, there's a big tier list, and I wish it was easy to where I could just say, oh, micro influencers are worth this much. This person's worth this much based on their followings, but you can't really pinpoint that because there's different levels of power between the resonance of the influencer, their audience, what they post, the things they're interested in, and your brand. If you can find someone that is like a very good pair, like almost like it where it looks like they started the brand themselves because they love it so much, then even if that influencer has a very low following, you can get very high level results from it because there is a resonance between the audience and the brand and the product you're selling. So that's why it's really hard to kind of assess like how much is someone worth. And when you get bigger in this scale of working with higher level like influencers and celebrities and stuff, they think they're worth their weight in gold. They think that they can charge unbelievable prices, and some of them can. But if I'm trying to sell this cupping device and I just go grab some random famous person like Aiden Ross or one of the new like streamer guys that are getting famous, there's not really a resonance between this. Maybe because like Aiden is saying he's getting into the gym and all that stuff, so maybe there's an alignment there. But if you just grabbed like Katy Perry and said, hey, will you promote our new cup? And nobody really cares. But if you go to a famous athlete and he actually says that every time I'm recovering from the gym, I need to make sure that I use this cup and it genuinely helps me, and there's that resonance and people trust him, and all of his followers are also athletes that go to the gym and do these things and train and work out, then maybe he is worth his weight in gold. But you have to assess power level that each celebrity has, each influencer has, based on the resonance between the content they make, what they do as a person, their passions, pains, interests, and how well their followers are gonna align with that influencer, how much they look up to him, are they doing the same activities? And then you can kind of assess that level of, okay, if we pay this guy and everyone looks up to him and they also do the same things as him and this product helps him, it's going to help his followers. We should have a very high conversion rate of people seeing it and liking it. So it's really hard because in the end of the day, it's an educated guess just like everything else. And a lot of it's open to your own judgment and negotiation with the influencer. And the biggest thing you can do is actually reach out to people that resonate with it. Like, who needs this product? Who wants it? Is there an influencer that has bad neck pain? Maybe I can search that out and find it and say, hey, we'd love to do a paid promotion. We saw that you have issues with your neck and back pain. We have a product that helps it. I think it'd be an awesome opportunity for you to showcase how it helps you. You don't have to say anything ingenuine. If the product doesn't help you, say that it doesn't help, but we'd like to pay you $5,000 for a post. And if they have like 500,000 followers, I'd say that's very worth it in my opinion, because you're also getting that video of that influencer saying it that you can run on paid ads later. So you're getting a UGC video, you're getting an organic post, and I would say that that's worth $5,000 for sure. But a lot of these influencers gonna be like, oh, 20K for a post, especially when you're in like the million range, and it starts getting really crazy. So you have to assess like, how passionate are their followers? That's a big question. If someone has 1 million followers, what's the engagement rate on their TikToks, on their Instagram posts, on their YouTube posts, whatever social medias they're utilizing? How obsessed are people with that person? For example, Andrew Tate, everyone is obsessed with him. If you are a fan of Andrew Tate, it is like an identity for you almost at this point. So if you have Andrew Tate say something, his resonance with his audience and his ability to persuade them and get them to take an action is very, very big. But a lot of people don't have that connection with their audience. If they say, hey, go try this out, nobody trusts them. Maybe they do paid promotions all the time. There's, oh, here's just their other paid promotion. And at that point, they're worth nothing, genuinely nothing. The only value you get is their face saying whatever they said, promoting your product for paid ads later. You basically just paid $20,000 for a UGC UGC video. So it's not as worth it. You need to find people that have an actual influence over their followers, and it's kind of hard to test that. You can use tools like this. It's called Social Blade. For example, this is Sneako's Instagram. I guess you gotta log in. You gotta make a little free account with them. But you can go in and see some of their numbers and see like, okay, are they buying followers? Because you'll see a big, like on the graph of their following, you'll just see a huge spike where they bought 10,000 or 100,000 followers. So you can assess people's credibility there. But honestly, the best thing you can do is just naturally with your own eyes, go check out all of their social media platforms, see how people comment. Did they look like fake spam bot comments? How much likes do they get? Go watch their content. Is this influencer genuine in their content, or are they just doing like clown shit to get views? Because let's, for example, think of someone who makes like prank videos or just like does dumb shit for views and nobody really cares about them. It's just about the shock factor of what they're doing. That person could have 20 million followers, but if they say, hey, go check out this cupping device, and it just doesn't correlate to their content, nobody cares. They're watching this guy for shock value pranks, not for cupping device promotions. Like that's gonna flop so hard. So you really need to ensure that this person is going to benefit from my product, and them making content promoting this product is going to feel natural and organic. It's not going to feel like some random person with 20 million followers is making a post about my product because they're obviously just getting paid a ton of money. Unless your brand is bringing in like millions a month, then maybe you can go pay Kevin Hart to hold up the new cup and say, this is the best product in the world, and you can run mass production ads, similar to what Fabletics is doing. So that's like big company stuff, and that's way later down the line. The first thing you need to do when it comes to influencers is just start small. Search for those micro influencers, search for people that are really small, and try to get people to make content for you simply by you just giving them the product for free. And right, our product cost is like $15, so we can extremely easily just send this out to like maybe 50 people, maybe 100 people. We can hire a VA, and their job is just to create relationships with micro influencers, send them products, collect the videos, and help us post them. That's probably something my virtual assistant that I gave you guys a connection to, Omar, he could probably handle this. If you tell them what to do, they will find someone to do it and get work done for you. So when you're doing the micro influencers, the small influencers, and when you're just getting started, that's what you want to focus on, but you want to do it at a mass level. Send these out to your friends, send these products everywhere, get people realizing how much it helps, because then they're going to do word of mouth. If they're actually getting a pain point solved and it makes them feel better, they're going to tell someone about it. Word's going to start going around, and at that point, you just want to make sure that you have a brand name on it so you seem legit. The influencer stuff, I would recommend more getting into it. Once you have your brand name on your product, that's really going to help out a ton when it comes to word of mouth and getting like custom content, especially with like UGC and stuff. Like UGC and influencers and really scaling these up is more of what you do when you already know something works. Like I already know that this new cup is selling, so I probably should brand this. I don't think I'm going to for the sake of the course. It's gonna be too much time. I want to get this course out to you guys, but I've done 8K on the store so far. So yeah, and it's consistent and it's profitable. So this would be a time where I would start ordering bulk inventory, getting at least just the name on there, just having new cup put on there, maybe some simple but custom packaging, ordering them in wholesale, getting my prices down, and start working with influencers, negotiating, giving out stuff for free. So when someone gets this product for free, it has a box, it has a presentation, it has the little cutout images of your brand, and it just feels real, because I mean, it is real at that point. You're running a real e-commerce brand. So I would recommend getting the custom packaging, ordering in wholesale before really diving into UGC and influencers at an extra high level. You can still dabble with it and play around. There's definitely no issues in that, and it's going to help you out and get you a ton of sales still. There's no issues with playing around with it, and it's still going to be a huge asset, get you a ton of sales, and be a very good decision. I just wouldn't scale into it and do it at a big level until you're at a big level yourself and have the wholesale inventory. So I want to cover pricing and results and like how to kind of measure it out, but honestly, you kind of can't. You have to go in and assess based off educated decisions of how much you think it's worth, based on, compare it to your paid ads. When you're running paid ads, how much are you spending? Are you spending 2K a day, 3K a day, 5K a day? Maybe you can test an influencer with 500,000 followers or a couple 100,000 more, maybe close to 1 million followers. Maybe you can pay them 2, 3, 4,000, like your daily ad budget, and just see how it works that day. Did you get a ton of sales? And then now you also have this asset of the video of them talking you can use on your paid ads forever. Also, if you're in the community group, please let me know what influencers you're trying to work with. Ask me questions and I can try to help give you pricing, but prices change every day. Some people think they're worth so much more than they are, and some people will do it for very cheap, and some people will just want the product. They resonate with the brand and they're excited to do it for just a free product. But if you have questions and there's any way I can help, make sure you throw those in the community group. So how do we find these influencers, especially the small ones? The best thing you can do is look up hashtags, look up content on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter even. YouTube influencers are really, really big. If someone has a big YouTube following, deep connection, making content around how to stretch better, how to feel better, body health and wellness, that's the person I'm going to be paying $5K to talk about this product. If they make a designated video for it, they have 100,000 subscribers, very engaged audience, that's worth 5 to 10K for sure. Like you will be getting 20, 30K in sales extremely easily off that, without a doubt. So the best way to find these people is go check out YouTube for videos that pertain to your brand, to your company, your product. So for example, with this product, I would go on YouTube, go on all social media platforms and look up videos of like how to get knots out of your neck, how to get pain. Like think of the customer. What is the customer doing? Your potential customer has neck pain, shoulder pain. They want to recover better. They want to feel better. Their body hurts. So look up videos about how to solve these pains. And if there's someone that has a channel dedicated to that, that's your guy. So all you have to do is act like a consumer, act like you have this problem. And it's best if you're selling a product, you probably should have the problem. I have this problem. So it's really easy for me to think of the customer journey. What is a customer looking for? What's hurting? Where are they going to search for solutions? And find the people that are credible, that are telling them the solution, and pay that person to say your product's name, to showcase your brand. That's where the genuine connection is huge, especially if these influencers or these content creators have big followings. That's where they truly are worth their weight in gold. If I can find some guy that gets 500K views on every single video and all he does is talk about how to take away pain, how to make your body feel better, how to eat better, health, wellness, all that stuff, and he's a credible figure and his followers have a very deep, genuine connection with him, they trust what he says, that is truly worth its weight in gold. I would be paying $20,000, $30,000, potentially even more for something like that, because that video is going to be an asset that's on YouTube forever. And I'm talking if he makes a whole YouTube video, and that's where pricing's hard, is because did they mention it in 30 seconds in the video? Do they make a full video around it? Do they make one Instagram post of them holding it? Like, you have to negotiate and find pricing that you think is worth it for you based on your educated guesses. That's where it's so hard, because so many influencers have different following levels, different relationship levels, and where are they going to post it? Are they going to make like a crappy TikTok video that lightly mentions to go buy it and try it? Or is it a full dedicated YouTube video? But yeah, for a fully dedicated YouTube video, I'd pay $20,000, $30,000 for someone with 500,000 followers that would make a full video about my product. Even if it was titled like how to get rid of neck pain, and I know it'll get like 1 million views and my product is the main solution mentioned in there, that's for sure worth $20,000, $30,000. So I hope that gives you a good understanding of the influencer world. There's not too much I can teach you when it comes to look exactly for this, pay this exact amount, because it's so open. It's such a large Wild West world filled with tons of different variables that are extremely hard to calculate. So if you need help calculating stuff, you need help finding influencers, make sure you are hitting me up in the community group and I will do my best to help you along that process. The best thing you can do is have some sort of structure that gives you a systemized like process and flow of constantly getting micro influencers. Like have a post or have an email after someone posts like, hey, if you make a video about the product saying how much you love it, we'll refund 50% of the cost. That's going to give you a constant flow of micro influencers, UGC videos that you can use forever. That's a really big hack. That's stuff that you need to be doing. A post-purchase email flow that says, hey, thank you for purchasing. If you are willing to make a video for us on TikTok, like a vertical video showcasing the product, how much you love it, talking about it, anything. And if it's a good video that we like, we will refund 50% of your purchase. If not, refund 100% of it, because that is so worth it. Getting a high quality video that you actually like from someone who went out of their way and purchased it on their own accord. You're paying for UGC videos $200, $300 sometimes for one video. So refunding them the $14 order cost, right? Like losing one purchase for a free video is unbelievably worth it. So that's something you want to do. Be working with small micro influencers at a large scale. Try to work with as many of them as you can. Try to create a system to manage it all. all. Then every like once a month, once a week, reach out to someone who's bigger and try to organize a post there as you're running all of your paid ads, your organic content, all that stuff. And you're going to be everywhere. You're going to have a full-fledged company at that point. You're going to be having eyeballs everywhere, and you're going to be retargeting everyone on Facebook with these structures that say, hey, anyone who's watched my videos, show them these advertisements. And once people kind of get sucked into the world of the new cup or the world of your brand, you kind of don't let them go. You keep throwing ads at them. You keep targeting them on Facebook in different ways. You keep emailing them. You keep sending them text messages, and you really create this little ecosystem that's self-sufficient, where it brings in new eyes, nurtures them, teaches them about the product, shows them a bunch of different ads talking about the features, why it's good, why they need it. And if they don't buy, you offer them discounts through single image ads on Facebook, and it builds into something crazy. And now your job is to just keep getting in new eyeballs, and it gets pretty easy at that point when you have all of these systems laid in place. So I hope you gained a lot of insight and information on this video. I want to keep this one kind of short and give you just really solid principles to look for, because this is something that you're going to have to go out on your own accord and really master and really understand how much each influencer is worth for you through experimenting. And you can also structure deals where it's like, hey, for the first ones we'll do as a test, we'll pay you less, and if it's working good, we'll double the price later. You can always come up with amazing negotiations. And a lot of micro, small, lower level influencers have deep connections with their audiences, and they just don't know how to do sponsored posts. They've never done it. There's a ton of people on TikTok. There's a ton of like small celebrities that have those connections, and it's your job to go search for them and create amazing deals that are a win-win for both parties. So on that note, we're going to end the video off, keep it a little bit short here, and I will see you on the other videos. Peace. All right, boys, we are getting into a very important video. Today, we are going over scaling. Now, this is a very big topic. It's a very important topic, and there's a lot of different styles and different ways you can approach this, and nothing is really the like only way or the extremely correct way. There's a million different ways to do it. So what I want to do is go through the layouts and the foundations and give you guys all of the tools and proper understandings that you need of things like vertical scaling, horizontal scaling, how to mess with budgets, different scaling structures like cold traffic scaling, lookalike audience scaling, and interest-based scaling, and how we can really map everything out to understand the fundamentals and then play with it on our own brands and see what works for us, and basically just have all the tools at our belt to properly execute on the scaling process without me telling you one exact thing works, only do this, because it's just not that simple. So without further ado, let's dive in. All right, guys, there's some prerequisites that you should definitely have in place before you really jump into like the scaling method in full force. So first thing you need is you need to have already scaled up in a decent sense with your testing, and you should have some good data on your pixels. So you should have like 50 to 100 purchases at least, I would say, that really shows TikTok or really shows Facebook, hey, this is our customer base we're looking for. They need this data for lookalike audiences and other things like that. So it is extremely important to have a lot of sales before we really dive into scaling. And we can obviously do some basic forms of scaling, like duplicating our ad group and then raising the budget by $200 if we were at $100 daily, and raise it to $200, see how that works. And we can scale up the ads that we were testing in that testing phase area. So you can definitely start using small, different little forms of scaling. But when you're fully diving into scaling, you need to have a ton of data. You also need to have a crazy amount of creatives. If you're going to fully dive into scaling, you have to have a system that will give you new creatives, around like 5 creatives a week. Now that's either you making them, or that's a UGC person making them and an influencer making them, or some friends making them. But you basically need 5 videos every week. I would say that's the absolute minimum. And the last prerequisite is you need to be able to spend like 2 to 4K a day in ads. And that needs to be something that's not like super intimidating, super scary, that's gonna like wipe out all your funds and leave you bankrupt if it doesn't work. You need to be at the point where you're already making decent amounts. You should be already hitting like 1K days on your store before we really start scaling. scaling. And obviously we're not going to just throw 4K a day into ads instantly and hope it works out. We'll slowly build up the process. Yeah, in the scaling process, throwing 2 to 4K a day into ads shouldn't be super intimidating. And when I say that, a lot of it's a mindset thing too. Like a lot of people are just scared to duplicate their ad group and raise it to that $1,000 a day budget, or raise it to that $2,000 a day budget, or something along those lines. And that can be a limiting factor that really halts on your success if you're just so scared that it's not going to work out. But you obviously need to make that decision based on data that shows you that, hey, we did a $1,000 daily ad group and it worked out pretty good. So maybe the 2K one is going to have decent success too. And when you turn it on, you're going to sit with it and monitor it through the day. You're not just going to turn it on and, oh, come back in 3 days and hope that works. You need to really sit on it that day. Anytime you set up a new budget that has like double the amount of spend, you need to sit and monitor it for the first like hour or 2 hours, refreshing it to make sure that it's spending that money in a good way, because it could jump in and just send all of that money to a crappy video ad that isn't doing too good. So you need to cycle in those video ads, and you really need to give attention to all of your ad groups when they're getting duplicated. Then once things are kind of settling down, you can be a little bit less hands-on with it. But right when you duplicate and right when you get into the scaling process and going on bigger numbers, you do need to be pretty hands-on. You kind of need to handhold all of your video ads, make sure they're spending good, and then you can kind of lay off the brakes later. So a bunch of little side tangents, but make sure you have some of those prerequisites ready, and let's get into the scaling structure. So again, we are jumping into another whiteboard. My face probably just got way wider because of this white screen I'm looking at. But this is cold traffic scaling. So this is the first thing we're going to talk about. And obviously this should kind of make sense. Cold traffic scaling, we're trying to scale up the entry level of our funnel. So there's the cold traffic funnel here, then medium traffic or warm traffic, then hot traffic, right? Remember that big funnel we talked about in the omnipresence video? This is the top of the funnel, right? So we have our big ecosystem where they're seeing all our ads and all this good stuff. This is that top entry level. So this is like the first time people see us. So this is our campaign. We would have like a cold traffic scaling campaign. Then we would have one ad group that's like our blank targeting, and it would have all of our creatives in it. And your creatives should be cycled weekly or bi-weekly with 5 new videos every single time. That's what I recommend. So we'll have one ad group, and usually I'd say $100 at the start. For the blank targeting, same for targeted ad groups. And what are these targeted ad groups? So these are going to be where we test out certain things. There's different things we can test. We can test going to different demographics. Like if I want to sell this to football players, like I've mentioned a ton of times, then we will have like a football target where we have football videos. We need 5 of them. And we have targeted people who like football or sports or things that we would assume would show this to people that play football and might need some physical therapy or something. So that's an angle and offer, a demographic, everything that we're testing in one group with 5 videos. That's how we want to do it. And then we'll do another target one of nerds at the computer like me. Hey, is your posture so bad? And you create video game ads. You can go into IKEA, find a little computer setup and film yourself in there, make some ads, or any furniture store, gaming store or something, or just do your setup at home. And that's another target. We're targeting a different demographic with a different offer with video ads made for it. And this is really important. So what I've just explained here, where we're getting into different audiences, different demographics, and targeting them, this is called horizontal scaling. We're scaling into different demographics. We're not scaling up our budgets. That's vertical scaling. So vertical scaling is when you're like, hey, this blank targeting is doing really good. Let's duplicate this ad group that was set at $100 a day and set it to $200 a day. Wow, 200 did really good. Let's set it to 500. 500 still doing really good on a daily level. Let's scale it to 750. Still doing good. Let's do 1,000. Let's do 2,000, 3,500, 5,000. And you want to just keep kind of scaling up and see how far you can go. And usually, if you have good creatives, you're going to be able to get to the $2,000, $3,000 range a day in spend on ad groups. But what's nice is you're doing the $100, you're doing the 200, you're doing the 350, you're doing the 500. You're still spending, that's like 1,500 right there. So every time you scale up, you're still spending the lower ones. So all of them are performing really good. Hopefully that makes sense. And you can actually be spending like 10K a day. If you get to the point of having like a 3K a day ad group that still performs, you can just really get your numbers up. So I hope that makes sense. Raising your budget daily is vertical scaling. and raising your, or trying more demographics, more marketing angles, more like a marketing angle, a different, for horizontal scaling, a different example, instead of like targeting just football players, you can just target everyone, but talk about a different selling point. So I could have one ad group that the targeted selling point that I'm doing is shoulder pain, just shoulder pain. Then we can do the exact same with just back pain, then just leg pain. Like, are your legs so sore from running? And we target runners or something. Like, basically you have your blank targeting. It's like going to the masses. And then all of these other ones, you're either testing like a different offer, a different angle of why someone should buy, or like a different pain point. Like, hey, does your back hurt? Hey, do your shoulders hurt? Examples, obviously this is going to apply to your product and its different things. Or you can have some that talk about different features. Like in one, I can highlight the red light therapy and the heat therapy. I can like kind of talk about that one more. But if we think of the scientific method, these are like our isolated variables, these ad groups. We're testing something different, and we usually want to test one thing at a time. Hey, let's try football people. Hey, let's try shoulder pain people. Let's try moms, right? And we want to, like, if we were doing moms, I want to have my mom go use the new cup and have her do it and her voiceover and everything, because the audience, the demographic is going to resonate with her. They're not going to resonate with me, right? So we need to be thinking of all of these elements, and we need to constantly be scaling into different demographics, focusing on different things, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work. And then at the same time of doing that, we need to be scaling the budgets up. So I hope this makes sense. This is like the entire kind of scaling process. And it also comes into lookalike audiences. So we're going to do the same thing, but the different ad groups are people who viewed content. And maybe you can try this out too on Facebook. I know this works. You can't do it on TikTok, but you can try a view content ad. Hey, you go into Facebook, you say, hey, we want a lookalike audience of everyone who's viewed content in the last 180 days. So you have this huge demographic of data of people that like the new cup, and you can send them a video, send them an image ad, send them a story ad, send them a reel ad, and Facebook can kind of pick out, okay, this person likes video ads, because each human being has their own algorithm of what ads they interact with. So if I only interact with story ads, Facebook's only going to show me story ads. Like, they're going to be way more hesitant to show me a video ad because I only interact with story ads. So hopefully that makes sense. If you have, this is a good thing to test as well in another ad group. You can do like a testing ad group with multiple creatives, create one of those, $100 budget a day, and test a video, an image, a story, and a reel, all of your best ones in that, and see how that performs, right? We just need to be testing everything. We need to have like a million campaigns running, a million different ad groups, and try to keep it all organized, but it is going to get a little messy. So that's an example of what we could do. But we want to, with lookalike scaling, we want to get deeper down the funnel, right? So at the start, we might not have enough people that have added to cart on our website in order for Facebook or TikTok to create a lookalike audience. They need like, I think it's like at least 1,000 people to take each action before you can start doing lookalikes for that exact point that you're trying to make. So like view content lookalike, that's going to be pretty easy. Like getting 1,000 people to your website, it's not too hard. Getting 1,000 people to add to cart, a little bit harder. So we want to try the view content lookalike ads. Once we have enough data, then we want to try the add to cart lookalike ads. Once we have enough of the add to cart lookalike, we want to jump into like initiate checkout. That's usually the next step. And the best is the purchase lookalike audience. Once you have 1,000 purchases, you can start scaling on this like crazy, and the data is so good. Facebook and TikTok are really going to be able to nail down like, okay, these are what buyers look like. And the performance, the numbers, the ROAS, everything is going to be really good on these campaigns. Next thing I want to go over is your creative test cycling. So like I said, your video ads are only going to last for a certain amount of time. I'll be honest, the new cup video ads I made, they're fizzling out. I need a new set of video ads. So I've had to scale down all of my stuff, take off all the things that isn't working, and we're basically back down to the point where I just need to create more video ads and start the cycle process again. So what you want to do is basically test 5 creatives a time, and you should be testing them every week. This is going to give you that nice blood flow, right? Because remember, creatives, video ads, content, all that stuff is the lifeblood of your business. So you need to be cycling out your lifeblood once a week minimum, and you need to at least be doing 5 videos. How do we test these videos? Once we get them, we're going to be using UGC, we're going to be using friends, we're going to be using our girlfriend, our mom, anyone who can make ads for us, anyone that fits the demographic that we're trying to sell to. Use yourself, anything you can do. Getting these video ads is going to be kind of a grunt work process, but this is what separates successful people from people that lose and fail and give up. So once we have our 5 new videos, what are we going to do? We're going to have a ad group. So we'll create a campaign called the creative test. Then we will have an ad group, and I would do $100 a day on each one of these. A blank ad group with no targeting that has all 5 of our new creatives. If we're testing reels, only test reels. If we're testing a single image ad on Facebook, only test those. If we're just testing on TikTok, then obviously we need the vertical videos, the reels. Only test 5 videos. And if you're doing like, let's say you want to try the football demographic, only do your football ones. Don't mix in your football ones with your mom ones. And you know what I mean? Like keep very big separating lines between these different demographics and marketing angles that you try. And it doesn't have to be like people. It can be like the shoulder pain versus the neck pain. Just make sure you label everything and keep things a little bit separate. So we want to do let's say these are my shoulder pain video ads that I just got done, because that's probably what I would do next if I had to make more videos, is I would focus just on shoulder pain and neck pain. So I would have 5 videos for that. I would have a blank ad group with no targeting, $100 a day. I'd have my best lookalike audiences I can do based off performance, not what I think is going to be the best, what has been doing the best on my ad account. So I should have already been doing lookalike audience scaling at this point. I can say, hey, view content for 7 days is our best performing ad group when it comes to lookalike audiences. So I would throw my new 5 creatives in with that exact same targeting. Then I would try some interest-based stuff. So on TikTok, we can test things like hashtag interactions. So I can choose like a neck pain hashtag, video interactions. So this is going to look at what type of videos do you watch. Like if I'm on TikTok and all I watch is gaming videos all day, then TikTok is going to label me as someone who watches the gaming ones. So if an advertiser goes into the advertising platform and picks, hey, show this video only to people that watch gaming videos, then it's going to show it to me, right? So pretty obvious stuff there. Video interactions is basically just the watching behavior of the TikTok viewer. Kind of explaining that bad, but I hope that makes sense. Then we have interests. So that's where they're going to assume people's interests based on their video interactions behavior. So these are kind of the same thing. We can also play around with things like target expansion, turning that off and on, see how that affects things. We can also play with the countries, like isolating USA, isolating Canada. We can play around with the age. We can also play around with the gender. So that's some of the things that we can play around with when it comes to the interest group and kind of changing things up. Like, hey, let's target people who interact with this hashtag, or people that watch these type of videos. Or we can just switch it around and only change like, hey, people that are only in the US, or people that are only this age, or only this gender. We can change those things. Usually the things that I recommend playing with the most when it comes to this interest-based ad group is video interactions and hashtags. That's basically all I like to play with. When it comes to this interest ad group, we want to keep things broad. Like let's say I'm in Facebook and I'm choosing an interest that's CrossFit or something. That might be a small group. That might only be like 100,000 people or 2 million people or something. And remember, the broader, the better when it comes to advertising. We want Facebook, we want TikTok to have the steering wheel, and they're not on a narrow road of, hey, we only want customers right here, because then TikTok can't really steer and do too much. You've kind of boxed them in. So the wider, the better. We want them to be able to drive around and search for these customers. So let's say I like to do things in groups. So if I'm doing like a fitness group, then we're going to add in CrossFit. We're going to add in bodybuilding. We're going to add in weight training, runners, yoga people. Like you want it kind of big as much as you can. Like try to keep it hyper focused to a specific niche, especially if what you're testing is like, hey, we're going to target athletes. Like make sure you're not doing stuff that's like outside of the scope, but make sure you're just not narrow. Then obviously we're just going to throw our 5 creatives in for each ad group, and we're going to watch them. We do our natural thing of like, oh, creative 1's getting all the spend, but it's not doing too well. Kill it off. Then the spend starts coming more to 2, 3, 4, and 5. Hey, 2's working really good. Super cool. 3's getting no spend. 4's doing really bad. Cut 4 out. Now 3 is getting more spend, and we see, okay, 2, 3, and 5 are our best videos. Now we know that. Now we can use those later down the line. And I know you're not going to really want to spend $300 in a day just to test your video ads, but I really think it's worth it. You can, if you really need to, I would just do the blank at $100 a day and let it spend on the creatives. But testing all of them is really good because it could be a fluke. Remember my foot ad, the ad where I like had the new cup on my foot? At first, that one was really bad. TikTok didn't like it, Facebook didn't like it, and then it became my biggest purchaser that overall made me thousands of dollars in profit. So you really need to be careful. So something could flop on the blank testing ad group, but on the lookalike audiences, it does really good. On interests, it does really good as well. So that's why I recommend doing that. This should be happening once a week. And you can test it for like 1, 2, 3 days as long as you need to make sure all of the ad groups at least got a decent amount of spend to see which ones are good or bad. Then with all the good ones, we want to properly insert those into scaling campaigns like the lookalike scaling ad groups or the cold traffic scaling ad groups. So yeah, we basically just want to make sure that our creatives are getting cycled in really good. And if we need to like retest everything because like right now, like everything died out on mine, so now I need to restart, then we just restart again at $100 daily budgets, focusing on doing some horizontal scaling. Then if we need to restart, we can just focus on our blank targeting test group, start at $100 a day and just build back up again. But we don't want to have to rebuild. We want to be able to just be like, hey, this ad sucks. Hey, here's our new one. And we can always be grabbing ads from our tested ad group campaign that we know these ads are good. We know TikTok likes them. We know Facebook likes them. So we're going to be juggling doing all of this on Facebook and on TikTok. So you can see how it can get a little bit messy, but I promise you guys, if you are diligently in here, you are following these systems, you're creating these ecosystems to get your 5 videos each week. You're coming in, you're cycling things out, you're running your cold traffic scaling, you're running your testing ad groups, you're running your lookalike audience scaling, and then you're doing your retargeting omnipresence. You're going to be looking really good when it comes to numbers, when it comes to revenue, profit, and all of that stuff. And it's going to be worth your time. This is the only thing we need to do. Everything else is outsourced. And eventually we can even outsource this process itself. And we will be getting into that on a later video. Now, keep in mind this big thing here, the omnipresent stuff that I went over in this video. And by the way, you guys will get access to this Miro board in a link below the video. So keep in mind this process. Now, this is something we have to tailor back into everything is we need to be having tier 1 ads that are hooks, tier 2 ads that are building interest more, tier 3 ads that are selling harder, and then tier 4 ads that are running discounts. We need to run funnel systems like this basically for like every different thing we're targeting. So kind of rough. We're going to need to have a cold traffic scaling pyramid like this, a lookalike audience scaling pyramid like this. And every time we try an ad group demographic that's like very different, like moms, we need to have a mom only tiered system with the ice cold traffic, build interest tier 2. We need to have that system based for every demographic we try. So kind of a lot to handle.